and welcome to the show to my two viewers. I don't know who you guys are, but welcome to the show. It's a Monday night chill stream because I was pretty busy yesterday. I drove to West Lebanon, New Hampshire, which I was there a couple of years ago and they were calling it Nashua. I don't know what changed about it, but it was a long drive and we're up to three viewers. Wow. Big ratings here. Long drive, 95-degree heat, got stuck in the Merritt Parkway. As soon as I got to Connecticut for about an hour and a half. And that really sucked, especially with no air conditioning. And I sat there thinking, well, when Bitcoin hits, hey, Bob Paxson, wow, you're up late. Yeah, you must, you must have had too much chamomile tea or something, whatever it is you boomers drink to get wired at the Jerry Garcia Retirement Center or wherever you hang out down there in South Jersey. But so I had to drive to New Hampshire, which once I got through Connecticut, once I got off the Merritt Parkway, which was a disaster because there was like a 4-car, wasn't even a fender bender, but everybody thinks like people who have never had car accidents think that you bump into each other and you have to stop in place because you're going to give the cop a story, right? You're going to say, oh, this is how it happened. And, what happened. You don't know what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? If you were paying attention, you wouldn't have been in the accident in the first place. So anyway, these 4 cars bumped into each other. There's like some Indians, some old boomer white people and whatever. And they all stop in the left lane. And this blocks the very bottom of the Merritt Parkway for like an hour and a half while a fire engine and half the police force come out for people who aren't even injured. Okay. But they all think like, the police are going to show up, say who did it. They're all going to point like this. And then the cop's going to decide who's innocent and who's guilty. And then they're going to open up the trunk of their car and hand out a suitcase full of money to whoever they think the victim is. That's how you think shit works. And that is not how shit works. That is never how it works. But that's all these people are looking for a big payday for cars that were essentially scratched. But that cost me a couple of hours. And like I said, I was really sweating. And I cannot help but think that when Bitcoin hits like 250K and everyone looks at me and says, you got lucky, I'm going to think about that yesterday afternoon on the Merritt Parkway, how lucky I felt sitting there. But once I got past Connecticut and like into northwestern Massachusetts and into Vermont, it was a really nice drive. I mean, Vermont's really, really pretty, and the roads are empty. So the longer, deeper I went, the better off the ride became. And I could feel the air getting drier and cooler, because it's like a 275 mile drive up there. So, and then the McDonald's up there was hiring, believe it or not, said you could make $725 a week at McDonald's. And everyone knowing that we are like all Bitcoin all the time here. This was some of the best memes come out when the price is down. So here's this meme, right? Is it gonna show up? Come on, do it. There we go. This I couldn't help but think. I'm in, what is it? White River Junction, right? I think the actual town is called White River Junction. So in White River Junction, Vermont, which is not a big town, not a very busy place. So they're saying you could make $725 a week flipping burgers at McDonald's. And I got to tell you, I was really thinking about this. I'm like, really? Almost like 700, even if they took a third of it in taxes, that's $500 a week. And you live in Vermont, you know what I mean? There's no diversity there. I did see one drug addict guy who was like some fat tattooed white guy with those earplugs. Those they make their earlobes gigantic loops they're on fucking Easter Island or some shit like that. I don't know what the fuck it is. Anyway, and he was like the drug addict guy, but he may be the most dangerous man in White River Junction, Vermont. But that's that literally means nothing. He's just some overweight pill popper who likes to poke holes in himself. So yeah. So anyway, so I went up there, dropped this. I remember being up there I think 3 years ago or so, and I think I still had the Chrysler at the time. Anyway, so and then I drove back, and that was my day yesterday. So I didn't get home till 2 in the morning, and a little bit late to stream, and so I just said, "Fuck it." I went to sleep. Today was my day off. I did nothing. It's 90. Paxton knows this. It's 90+ degrees. It's retarded humid, and I just stayed home. I bought some pork shoulder and marinated it and whatever. I just had some marinated pork shoulder and some other stuff, and I did nothing today. I didn't have to do anything, so I didn't do anything other than grocery shopping. I just stayed home. But the tonight's stream, the title of tonight's stream, when I was in Connecticut, it was in Hartford on Saturday. So on Saturday I was in Hartford, and that sign, I can't remember the brand of tequila, but there was actually a sign that said gluten-free tequila, and I just looked at it. I was in a liquor store because it was Saturday. And you know what Saturday means? You got to have one of these sooner or later. I knew the weekend was coming. I knew this show was coming. I didn't know that Sunday was going to be that long drive, but I said, "Hey, I got to have some juice for the show." You know what I mean? How are we going to do this sober? So I said to the clerk, I was like, "Is that a real sign?" The guy's like, "What?" I said, "Gluten-free tequila," and he's like, "Yeah, I guess." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "That is the most clown world sign you've ever seen." Tom Anderson, welcome to the show. Gluten-free tequila. The reason why you're a fat fucking slob is not because you eat too much. It's because there's gluten in your tequila. You know what I mean? You have to be, you're staggering around, you know what I mean? Stuffing your face with all kind of fucking whatever, McDonald's or whatever. And you're worried oh man, I want to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, which just passed, or whatever. I want to celebrate Taco Tuesday, right, with your tortilla friends, and you're like, oh yeah, let me go sling some Spanish, nosotros, me amos, whatever, with your tortilla buddies, and you're like, wait, what tequila should I bring to the party? You know what I mean? I don't know. I better bring the gluten-free tequila just in case some of these mestizos are gluten sensitive. Gluten-free ouzo. Yeah, there is one kosher certified. I don't drink that one anymore. I used to drink it when I was a kid. It's ouzo by Metaxa. I don't drink that anymore because it's actually kosher certified, so I don't buy it. So I got so since I did nothing today, I actually have extensive notes. I don't even know if we can get to all of the show that I mentally have planned out. Okay, maybe not so planned, but that are the places I'd sort of like to go with things. But man, it's just tons and tons and tons of stuff that caught me. The feds thank God our federal law enforcement is active again. The George Floyd statue that they put up in outside of the Sports Bowl Center in Brooklyn was vandalized. The face was painted white, and the words "PatriotFront.us" were printed on it. And of course, so I guess the NYPD crack detectives are on the case, but either the NYPD Joint Terrorism Task Force did it or the FBI did it. So no one's ever going to be caught for that, right? Paxton, you're going to give me 30 minutes. Wow, I appreciate that because knowing how little time you have left on this earth, Bob Paxton, I am truly honored that you give me 30 whole minutes. But yeah, so the George Floyd statue was vandalized, and I just thought to myself, really, does the FBI have nothing better to do? Really nothing better to do? But they're gonna make white terrorists, some way, somehow. You know what I mean? But all the video around the Sports Bowl Center, they're not gonna find. I guarantee you, it's like the video from Oklahoma City, the video from 9/11, the video from from October, whatever, January 6th, all the video that, the 10,000 hours of video that they have, that the FBI has, you'll never see it. So it'll just be an anonymous hate crime. Meanwhile, anybody, like lighter than fucking whatever, Oprah Winfrey spits in the fucking sidewalk, and the FBI SWAT team is kicking in their fucking door, right? To drag them off, to federal pen. You know what I mean? And you complain about it, and the guards will beat the shit out of you. So that's why the title of gluten-free tequila is so appropriate. I try to think of like catchy, like clickbaity kind of 3-word titles for every stream, and I was like, fuck. I was like, the week was like halfway done for me, and I'm like, I don't have a 3-word title for the stream. And then I walk into the liquor store, and thankfully, Clown World has supplied us with tonight's stream. I'm looking in the chat. Bob Paxton, what the fuck are you talking about? You wish you had a heart attack. Relative to a stroke, yes, but I'm pretty sure you wish you didn't have a heart attack. Gluten is, yeah, of course, gluten is my friend. Gluten-free is the same as kosher certified. You don't want to be doing that. Yeah, but the George Floyd statue, big statue. The whole point of tearing down the statues in the last 2 years was to put up the George Floyds. I mentioned this before, and you guys think, oh, he's being a whack job. When I tell you, when you're in this position, when you're head tilted, looking up at a larger image, whether that's Stalin or whatever that image is, that is designed, that very physical posture is designed to put you in a child's mindset, right? Because that's what children do. Children look up to their parents. You know what I mean? Little children are always looking up to their parents, and they question nothing. They have no critical thinking skills. So putting a giant bronze George Floyd in Brooklyn and another one in Newark, although the Newark one, it's stupid how they placed them stupidly, and they're supposed to be placed up high so that even that they don't even understand what they're doing as they fuck shit up. But the purpose of all this, the purpose of bringing down your icons, was to put up new icons at your expense, and that you don't see that, or that people refuse to see that. That is it's frustrating, but this is the reality. I also saw in Japan they did another COVID thing, like a COVID nurse, like a giant COVID nurse that they were going to put an actual paper mask on or something like that. So they're doing this all over the place because, again, they're trying to knock you into a child's mindset where you don't question anything, you just accept what they tell you, and you go along with the program. And it's failing really, really miserably. But elite failures is a feature, not a bug. You know what I mean? Elite failures are. Paxton, you're like you're really on fire tonight. I don't know what they spiked your prune juice with geritol, or what's up with you. You're really you're going crazy in the chat. You haven't been around for a while. I guess you're making up for lost time. But elite failure, like China banning Bitcoin, that is the strategic blunder of the 21st century. That is the strategic blunder of the 21st century, because things are moving along at a pretty good pace. Here's a recent screen grab from our friends at Twitter. And as soon as this thing opens up, if it will open up, I will show it to you. Oh, you rat think. No, that's not the one I want. Oh, stand by. It's not really boomer tech. It's just no budget tech. No budget tech. There we go. Okay. It's slowly coming along. Here's where we are. Hopefully this will come up quick. Hopefully this will. I try to crop these so that they look bigger on screen, because I don't know. I'm guessing you guys are not are looking at this on the laptop or computer, not on the smartphone. But I don't always know what medium you're looking at or what device you're looking through. All right, yeah, this is smaller than I want it to be, but here it is. So there's a tweet. You see what you see is a large hydroelectric dam. All right, and this is somebody tweeted this. This isn't the exact tweet, but that same photo where somebody said, "You like volcanoes? Wait till you see what like Paraguay's rivers can do." So Paraguay, which is going to pass its own Bitcoin law coming up in a few days, they're gonna at least put it up to a vote. They're going to mine Bitcoin using hydroelectric. And this whole stupid thing with Elon Musk saying Bitcoin is not clean enough, it's not green enough. Well, we got volcanoes and we got hydro. Like within China, it's done banning Bitcoin, and I'm telling you, China banning Bitcoin. Whoever convinced them to do that, them to shoot themselves in the foot and then slit their own throat. That is going to be the biggest strategic of the 21st century. Absolutely, like there's nothing China could have done dumber or worse. But Paraguay, looking to get into the inability of anybody to stop this. The inability is a joy to see because, yeah, Tom, and that's true. How China was doing it, I don't know. Listen, there's no bullshit, right? I mean, Elon Musk, as a representative of the global elite, says, well, Bitcoin's too dirty. You know what I mean? Have you seen the lithium and the cobalt that's fucking mined for the batteries for his fucking cars? You know what I mean? What they call surface mining, that they used to call strip mining. It's all bullshit, But the propaganda war, my point is, the elite incompetence is really going to be on display because they're losing the propaganda war faster than they can come up with new FUD. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know China largely mined Bitcoin with electricity from like the Yangtze River and stuff like that. But all that stuff's being moved to Kazakhstan. It's being moved to America. The stuff in America has to be rewired because it doesn't meet American safety standards. Blood lithium. It is. Once again, African slaves digging in the dirt to make a Jewish guy rich. Selling you something you really don't need, right? Which is an electric car that think about a Tesla 10 years from now. Think about a Tesla 15 years from now. You think it's going to be a collectible? Do you think any of the tech in a Tesla car is going to impress somebody in 10 or 15 years? Think of what technology looked like 10 or 15 years ago. It didn't, it didn't look as cool, as smart as the stuff we have now, right? And nowhere near as capable. The first iPhone, people waited online in the middle of the night to go pay $600 for a phone that literally you couldn't give to someone right now. An iPhone 1, you could not give away. You know what I mean? Best thing you can do is throw it in a recycle bin. So Tesla cars, you want to, if you have that kind of money to waste, go ahead and waste it. But they're a phenomenally bad investment. It's a vanity thing for people for whom vanity is everything. Bob Paxton in the chat. James will be delivering in an e-ride in 3 years. No, well, I don't know. There are guys. Actually, there are people. What's the Toyota Prius? There's some guys that use Priuses where I work, but I don't like the Prius. The wheels are too small and you can't go that fast. You know what I mean? When I was in Vermont and the speed limit was 65, I was doing 75 and they were passing me. These dudes in these here. By the way, Vermont, all eco, Green Mountain, huggy hippie shit. How's it going, Jonathan Paul? By the way, if you apply to the McDonald's in White River Junction, Vermont, you can make, oh, I'm sorry, White River Junction, New Hampshire, you can make $7.25 a week. I saw the sign. There's no way they would possibly lie to me. You do have to live, however, in West Lebanon or Nashua, New Hampshire. So, there's nothing that Elon Musk has. The tech is all garbage. You know what I mean? Which leads me to the peak. I've been going through these fits of peak over these wannabe dissidents. Like, once again, the democracy haters are out in force. And I think about this like this. I'm sitting right now in an air-conditioned room, right? Talking to you via smartphone, via a fucking laptop computer, right? I have a refrigerator full of food. I have my favorite brand of fucking alcohol that I can buy almost anywhere, right? All of the fruits of democracy I enjoy and I like them. And everyone that hates democracy, and I'm thinking about this as I was like, you have to give back all the shit that democracy ever did. Like all the inventions of, because democracy is paused, right? Oh my God, it's paused. Oh heavens. Oh, they're fucking crying fucking tears. Oh, democracy sucks. Democracy sucks. Well, let's see. Electricity, that's democracy. You can't have that. Go back to fucking candles. Automobiles, I think the Germans made the first one. I don't know if they were democracy back then. I think it was still a kingdom or a Reichdom or whatever. Mercedes-Benz went out in the 1800s. Were they a democracy yet? I don't know. But you could maybe have cars. But you can't have airplanes. You can't have computers. You can't have TV or fucking radio. Okay? You can't have the internet. You know what I mean? No smartphones, because all that shit came out of democracy, you know? And it just, I wanted, when I say these kids need to be fucking bike locked in the head, I'm not kidding. It would improve their personalities exponentially. You know what I mean? You're sitting, just like the communists you claim to fucking hate, which you don't hate, you know, because you are exactly like them. You know what I mean? Right? The communists say to you, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. And you're like, no, we're going to fight that. How do you think you're going to fight this? I don't know. Meanwhile, you're going, democracy sucks. Let's throw democracy out. Okay, well, what do you want instead of democracy? Do you want authoritarianism? You want some kind of monarchy thing? Okay, that means you have to give up everything democracy has produced, right? Because it's the pause. Right? It's gay pride parades, it's blah, 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 which really is not democracy, but whatever, which is the antithesis of democracy. It's a tiny elite, you know what I mean? Making the government publicly approve of what they want. That's not really democracy, but it's a separate issue. So you want authoritarianism, you know, like, what do you want? Like, explain that, because you don't get electricity. You know, there's a lot of things you don't get. You know what I mean? I was what's her name? Karen Assad. She retweeted this, and I meant to talk about this last week. The palace at Versailles, right? Louis the 13th or Louis the 14th. I don't know which, the French king. So the palace at Versailles, considered the most beautiful building on the face of the earth. It's an enormous building. What Louis XIV did was he centralized power in wherever the fuck the Palace of Versailles is, outside of Paris, I guess. And this is a super elaborate fucking, the floors are fantastic and the walls and the gold gilt on the fucking ceilings and everything's super elaborate and French Rococo fucking style. Funny thing about the fucking Palace at Versailles. They installed very few bathrooms, very few restrooms. And you'd be interested to know, in monarchy, this fucking chosen system, which is dramatically better than democracy, right? American democracy sucks, where every fucking, again, even a humble abode like I have has fucking everything you could need. Air conditioning, running water, refrigerator, all of that shit. The Palace at Versailles did not have toilets. So the French nobles relieved themselves. They urinated and defecated behind the curtains in the Palace at Versailles. That's what they did. Google it. And the stench was so fucking bad that they would have to clear out. They would have to leave the palace for 2 weeks, a year while the fucking peasants cleaned the place. You couldn't go in there. This is the fucking height of Gallic civilization, of fucking monarchy and fucking all that, all that good stuff. That's where you want to fucking live. That's what you want to live under. Okay. I guess you're hoping you're going to be one of the aristocrats urinating or defecating behind the curtain, right? That's the life you're fucking hoping for. But the reality is you're probably going to be one of the fucking peasants cleaning it up. So, and the other thing this Louis XIII did, he apparently liked to have a lot of things forcibly put up his rectum. And in fact, it pierced his fucking bowel, and it gave him all kind of problems. But he used to charge people, I'm not kidding you, like 10,000 French fucking francs to watch him defecate. And you would get a certificate from the king that you watched him defecate. I'm not fucking making this. I'm not making this up. Okay. This is the monarchy you want to fucking live under. This is what you think is so fucking great. You would pay that. Then you get your certificate that I watched the king take a fucking dump. Right. And then you would use that to get government contracts and shit. That's how fucking, that's the world you want to live under. That's the world you think is better than this world with electricity, smartphones, refrigerators, automobiles, fucking airplanes, the internet, and 100 other fucking things I can't think the fucking name right now. Right? If you don't want democracy, you don't want any of the fruits of democracy. No fucking airplanes, no electricity. You go back to using fucking candles. Listen to me. You wouldn't last a fucking week. You wouldn't last a week. So when I hear people sitting in the lap of democracy, enjoying the fruits of fucking democracy, right? And criticizing it, I can only think that you're children. You have no understanding of where anything fucking comes from or how it fucking gets here. Like a child, things just appear in front of you. And then you think, well, I like this and I don't like that. Well, you really don't get to pick and choose as much as you think. Monarchy, authoritarianism is almost never innovates anything. And the reason why, and here's the thing about monarchy, and you will own nothing and enjoy it. In a monarchy, the king owns everything. It is his land, and everything in the land is his. That is monarchy. There's no private property in monarchy, right? So you will own nothing, and you'll be happy. Except you want a king that you think is right wing. Maybe you're going to convince yourself, oh, he's really a right wing guy. Well, you're taking a dump behind the fucking curtain, right? Or paying fucking 2 years fucking salary to watch this guy take a fucking dump in a chamber pot, right? You're going to think, wow, this is some fucking right wing fantasy I got going here. You will own nothing and you'll be happy. So I got to tell you, from what I know about the French Revolution now, the Palace of Versailles, Louis XIII or the 14th, whoever the fuck he was, I'm on the side of the guys that were chopping off heads. Okay, the motherfuckers that set up the guillotine, you know what? They were. I've really thought about this. They were the good guys. I don't care if they were Jacobean, pre-communistical, whatever the fuck. Those motherfuckers in the Palace of Versailles needed their fucking heads chopped off. That shit, that needs to fucking end. That needs to fucking end. A palace that fucking enormous, that elaborate, that expensive, and literally stank to high heaven, filled with piss and fucking shit. That's the height of civilization. That's the civilization you want to live under? Fucking keep it, motherfucker. Drop off your fucking cell phone and your fucking computer on the way out the fucking door. Okay? We don't want you. We don't fucking need you. You stupid fucking children. There's a guy with a YouTube channel. There was when COVID ended in Italy, when they ended the lockdown, they have one of those cable cars that goes up the mountain, and there was 14 people or 20 people on it, whatever. Anyway, it crashed at the bottom of the mountain. Everybody died, body parts everywhere. And this guy did an analysis of why that happened. And to make a long story short, and this guy's an engineer, and he explained a lot of stuff about engineering, about chains, about cables, about mining, about Australia, about German metallurgy is a whole. It was actually a pretty interesting video. It's like a 15-minute video. None of you will ever watch it because it's about engineering and real shit, not fucking fantasy shit. Like, wouldn't it be great to live at the Palace of Versailles? Yeah, right after they cleaned it, maybe for a week it wouldn't be too bad. But eventually, by the 50th week of there, you'd probably be fucking choking from the stench. You know what I mean? And trying to find a spot to stand behind the fucking curtain where somebody hadn't already fucking pissed their shit. So this guy does this analysis of why this cable car crashed, okay? And ultimately what it comes down to is profit. And he was talking about AI, artificial intelligence, controlling things. And he said essentially corporations whose goal is profit is a type of artificial intelligence, because it was the drive for profit that caused a lowly technician to disable the brakes on the cable car because it was too expensive to recalibrate the brakes or get new brake parts. And they thought, well, it's never fallen down the mountain before. It's not going to fall down the mountain now because the cable works a certain way. And you know what? None of the maintenance was done because maintenance costs money and engineers cost, coming out there to check stuff costs money, and that reduces profit. So when profit is your highest good, everything else is sacrificed towards it, okay? Everything else suffers because profit must be supreme. So profit as the primary motivation is an artificial intelligence. The profit motive decides what maintenance gets done, who does it, how often it gets done, et cetera, et cetera. And the consequence of that, at least in the case of these, it was like 14 or 16 people, and some with children and stuff going up there, they all died. Okay, this was in Italy. This was very recently. So, AI, which people will present to you as the horror of horrors. Okay, you already live under AI. You just don't understand it. You don't recognize it. In the same way, you don't recognize that the George Floyd statue is the new God for you to fucking worship, and you laugh when I say stuff like that. Believe me, it is the new God for you to fucking worship. It is the new fucking hero upon which they think America is going to be fucking founded. Okay, and how close are they going to get to making that happen? I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's been a very interesting year so far, and it's only going to get more interesting. I have extensive notes here. A couple of really cool things that I heard that what I've been meaning to say this probably for 3 months. There's a phrase that I fucking absolutely love. That if you want to have an intellectual, you're going to get into a debate, an argument, not with a guy like me, but like a college guy. You're going to be up against a college guy or whatever, somebody smart, and you're going to debate whatever fucking thing you're going to debate. The way you fucking blow them out of the water before it even starts. Are you serious, Paxton? You have to say this. You have to use this phrase. This is the fucking nuclear bomb of fucking argument. Reasoning from first principles. You say reasoning from first principles, and that just fucking knocks the shit out of anything that other guy was going to say, because nobody knows what the fuck that means half the time. But the idea that you would not reason from first principles means you're a fucking idiot. Like you have just so completely tied up your fucking opponent. Like, oh my God, he did the reasoning from first principles thing. That's coming out with the H bomb of argumentative premises. So you can use that. You can use that and win every time, even if you make no fucking sense afterwards. All right, where am I going? I got tons of stuff here. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on. Oh yeah, this is something I wanted to show you again on elite incompetence is what it is. Big picture. Please be big. I cropped it. I was thinking about this the other day. Child of the 70s, Pump Paxton the Boomer will appreciate this. If the fucking picture ever comes up. Why does the picture not come up? Come on, bro. Google doesn't want to give it to me. Google does not want to give it to me. 70s, there was a pic. Wow, that's so bad. Again. Let's try it again. Something's not right. I don't care what's making. Paxton getting cranky now. No. I don't see anything here. Fuck it. All right, we'll skip to the next one. We're just gonna have to skip to the next meme. Oh, it's so good too. All right. Here we go. Here we're gonna share this. Who's a boomer? I'm not a boomer. I'm just fucking not spending money. I'm not spending money to fix the air conditioning in my car. I'm not going to spend fucking money to upgrade this fucking crappy computer so I can do a show for free for fucking people I never met. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Article from Forbes: say goodbye to Bitcoin and say hello to the digital dollar. In this, our little, one of our superiors, one of our betters, the highlighted portion says, it seems clear that global governments will not allow non-sovereign forms of money to continue to proliferate. Well, in that sentence, non-sovereign forms of money are already proliferating. So how do you think you're going to stop it? You haven't stopped it this far. What makes you think you're going to stop it in the future? But again, this is just how would I say it? Attack from all angles, right? FUD about stay away from Bitcoin. You're going to be forced to do what we tell you to do. The more you ban Bitcoin, the more you try to shut it down. Literally, the stronger it gets. The longer you've been involved in Bitcoin, the more you actually look forward to this stuff, because this is comedy. This is absolute comedy. How are you going to stop it? Eki Lux live streams. Man, Eki, you haven't been around for a long time. I bet you've been stacking at silver. Talk about critical race theory. I already did my critical race theory. Welcome to the show, Eki Lux. Welcome to the show. It's been a long time. Glad to see you were still amongst the living. I don't know if the zombies in LA have got you, but it's good to know that you are still here. Critical race theory. I wanted to do something like that. My Boomer Tech. My Boomer Tech computer is Boomer Tech. Oh no, here it is. Oh, this is exciting. So the elites fighting the last war, right? The complaint about old generals is they're always fighting the last war. And I was thinking about this when hopefully this picture comes up big. Let me see. Give me see. Talk about critical race theory, right? Critical race theory. Here we go. This is okay. This is a still photo from a commercial in 1978 for the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, right? And they had this really corny fucking song that it was like halfway between the Battle Hymn of the Republic and like a gospel song. So they would sing like, look for the union label when you are buying clothes, blah, 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 blah. So, and this was part of the commercial, and you can see they have a lot of diversity in the commercial. So you have a black woman, you have a Chinese woman. And speaking of which, part of the lyrics of this song was, and they had black people singing this on TV. I'm not kidding you. Talk about critical race theory. Black people actually sang in this commercial, yes, I know we work hard, but who's complaining? That's actual lyrics from that actual commercial. Okay. Bob Paxton. Yeah, there you go. There's some good times in the golden era of boomerism. So you remember that commercial, right? Black people singing, yeah, I know I work hard, but who's complaining? Now you have to go perform an act of obeisance before the fucking George Floyd statue and let the good boys, beat the crap out of you and run your pockets. So my point about this, and I don't recall why I was watching. Well, I was thinking about Jeff Bezos and Amazon and a bunch of other things. Amazon's primary fear is that their workforce is going to be unionized, and their strategy, their stated strategy, they've been caught out looking to hire people to scour social media to make sure people don't unionize and raise wages. And it is Amazon's belief, and it's going to be Jeff Bezos' belief, that a diverse workforce would mean that Amazon would never unionize. But look at this photo. This was a diversity union that was completely destroyed. Why was it destroyed? Because the unions don't really have any power. The people who own the garment factories have the power and the motivation to move their factories overseas. The hilarious part is these women are from the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, and the commercial says most of our clothing is made overseas. Well, if you're the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, why can't you fix the overseas problem? But the international label came from when they started the union, probably in the 30s. A lot of those early union people were communists, and they didn't want to be the American Ladies Garment Workers Union, which would have sounded too patriotic. They wanted to be international in scope. They wanted to scare those rich industrialists by making them think that, we're united. Workers of the world unite. So, Bob Paxson, ILGU, is in Vietnam now. So the point is, Jeff Bezos's fear is a union that is a diversity-based union. But this image shows you that was exactly the union that was destroyed in the 70s. Jeff Bezos's fear is something that capitalism or Wall Street has already conquered 50 years ago, 40 or 50 years ago. So they're fighting the last war. They don't see what's coming for them. They don't see that Bitcoin's going to clean their fucking clock. And I'm very happy about that. Keep focusing on shit that is literally not a threat. And you've already won against. Okay, you want to fight against, ghosts. You want to fight against things that don't exist. That's great. Okay, it's better for us. It's really, really better for us. But for whether it's Paraguay, by the way, Brazil has an exchange traded fund that's a Bitcoin exchange traded fund. The motivation to move garment working overseas was profit. You know what I mean? And the single point of failure, or the relatively small group of garment factory owners, could make a greater profit. They were incentivized to betray their own, to abandon American workers, and to have the same items made overseas for a tenth of the cost, or maybe less. You know what I mean? Pennies on the dollar, or maybe less than pennies on the dollar. So when there's an incentive to behave, people will behave that way. And so, when in Bitcoin, people always say no one is better than their incentives. So you need to understand what human incentives really are and who's incentivized to do what. Okay. And since a lot of political people have a political blinders, you view everything ideologically. Monarchy is great. Yeah. What about the Palace of Versailles? You know what I mean? Monarchy is not really that great. And by the way, monarchy means you own nothing and you will be happy, And when I point that out to people who think monarchy is so fucking great, they're going to hem and haw like I don't have the fucking right to make that argument. But what's your fucking data? Again, take back all the things from democracy. Take back electricity, airplanes, refrigerators. Take back fucking the smartphone. Take all of this shit. You wouldn't even be able to complain to your friends on fucking Instagram or whatever the fuck, because there is no Instagram in monarchies. Historically, single point of failure, centralized systems are not innovative by design. Innovation is a threat, okay? And every advancement in fucking, in almost every field of human endeavor comes from a democratic or a Republican style governance, where there's it's a decentralized approach to problem solving, because there will be problems and they must be solved. And in El Salvador, they're solving the problems of Bitcoin mining with volcanoes. In Paraguay, they're solving the same problem with with hydroelectric. What is this? Well, now I got to see what. Let's go back. I want to show. There's a couple. Oh man, there's a couple of that I did not. Here, try this one. This is a problem when you put your faith in government. When you really put your faith in government, this is where you're going to end up. Okay. And this guy, I'm sure, had a college education. I'm sure this guy was a very civilized guy. You'll take a look at him. He's a lot better dressed than me. I'm sure he had better manners than me, right? This is another Weimar picture. This is a guy counting Deutschmarks in Weimar, Germany. Okay. So, and it's obviously Bitcoin has made it into a meme. Stack sats, not paper, because that paper is worth it. I mean, what's it good for? To light a barbecue, to paper your wall. You know what I mean? You want to feel rich. You want to use whatever 1,000 Deutschmark notes to make your kid feel like a millionaire. So slap that stuff up on the wall. And the democracy haters always complain that democracy always turns into oligarchy. Oh, and it always ends up being a rule of the rich, and they screw people over. So their argument isn't even really that they don't like democracy. It's that they don't like corrupted democracy. You know what I mean? So their primary complaint about democracy seems to be that democracy is not perfect. Which, like, who is surprised by this? It's not perfect. So, let's throw it out entirely. I think, again, like I said, all the time while enjoying the very fruits of the system they claim to despise. So I cannot shit on these people fucking hard enough and understand you really are stupid children. Your personality will be improved when you get hit in the head with a bike lock. 50% of the people are too stupid to vote. Yeah, well, what percentage of the monarchs are too stupid to rule? When you consider monarchy, right? Let's hear about these great monarchs who were such wise rulers. You know what I mean? What monarch in the history of monarchy was blankety blank the wise? I'll give you guys in the chat some time to figure that. You can open up, because you all got higher tech than me and high speed internet. Open up a separate window, right? Minimize the stream. Open up a separate window and find the name of a real life monarch or king called blankety blank the wise, and you can do a quick rundown of whatever this guy's great accomplishments were as he wisely administered his kingdom. Let's hear about, with King Edward the Wise, Richard the Wise-hearted, who was Alexander the Wise, you know what I mean? Which king was such a fucking great king that they called him the Wise, and he wisely administered any fucking thing? There is none. You know why? Because kings are just as fucking stupid as commoners or democratic voters, except they're the fucking king. You imagine that there's a real distinction. There's no distinction. The distinction is bullshit as St. George fucking Floyd. The crackhead, by the way, Derek Chauvin got 22.5 years. 22.5 years for putting handcuffs on a fucking crackhead who's dying of a fentanyl overdose. He didn't shoot him. He didn't fucking tase him. He didn't even punch him in the fucking face. This summer is like, you're talking about white boy fucking summer. What effect this is going to have on law enforcement and what happens for the rest of the year, I don't know, man. Really, really, really bad. Really not good. And you need to be super, super, super aware of that. Judas Chai, welcome to the show. Blessings from Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the show. Tom Anderson, Germany from 1933 to 1945 is an example of base democracy. There wouldn't have been a Germany from 1933 to 1945 if it wasn't for democracy, right? Hitler was handed the chancellorship after Democratic whatever long jam. So even your fucking fantasy leader who burned everything up in fucking 8 years would not have been possible without democracy, right? Without that, there would be nothing. There would be nothing. So for you to complain, what is it? What is it? Dependency breeds resentment. Everything you have, everything, the way you're fucking writing in the chat right now, is because of ARPANET, which was developed in America, which is democracy. The reason why you get to complain about this is because of democracy. Dependency breeds resentment. And so that's the situation you find yourself in, and that's the position of a child. Children are dependent on their parents. When you grow up, when you become a fucking adult, and you actually learn how to do shit, when you can look at why the cable car in Italy crashed and everyone died, when you can look at it from an engineer's point of view and explain it to people and explain why things happened the way they happened and how to fix it, then you're an adult. You know what I mean? But if you just cry, oh my God, whatever, capitalism sucks, democracy sucks, like you're just endlessly whining about things that are less than perfect, but you have no replacement for. Bob Paxton wants Moshiach now. Judas Fly Chai, you want a monarchy? Judas Fly Chai, I thought you guys were into like the whole Sanhedrin judges taking over everything, dude. Right? Bob Paxton, anyone else here besides James's man crush? Richard Spencer wants a monarchy. Oh, Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer called for $20,000 Bitcoin. So, you know what I mean? And I almost wish it would come true. I wish it would fucking come true. I would be buying Bitcoin like a fucking mental case if it dropped back to 20. I showed last week on last week's stream. I bought like right before the stream when it was at 31 change. I bought at 31 and change, and I think we're at like 34 now. We're in the middle of whatever. We're just in the middle 30s for whatever like the time we're going to be in the middle 30s. Speaking of which, the new mayor of New York City, what's his name going to be? It's probably going to be a Negro gentleman called Eric Adams. Eric Adams used to be a New York City police officer, and he's now running for mayor. And Eric Adams, back in the 80s or the early 90s, in the crack era, I think it was the early 90s in the era of crack cocaine, when you're getting all these stories about, women leaving their babies in trash cans and all that stuff. Eric Adams was the head of an organization that was called 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement. And they were, I don't know what the hell it was supposed to be, but, they were like, we're not anti-cop, we're anti-corrupt cop or some shit like that. Anyway, Eric Adams, I don't know, they took him out of the police department, and he ended up becoming a state senator up in Albany for a while. And I thought I'd never hear from him again, but now they're going to bring him back and make him the mayor when they get rid of de Blasio. And he has promised to make New York City a center of the Bitcoins. That was an exact quote. He has no idea what the fuck he's talking about, but the small hats that are running him, they look at Miami doing all sorts of stuff with Bitcoin, and they don't know how they're going to make money off this, but they need to dangle this in front of your face in order to get you to vote for Eric Adams, who they're probably going to not highlight the police, that he used to be a cop thing. They're probably going to highlight his state senator government service thing. But somebody threw up this meme like in 2 seconds. Judas Fly Chai, we should elect Brundlefly to be our Christian emperor. Funny thing about them Christian emperors, Judas Fly Chai, they never really acted in a Christian way. There's nothing about Christianity that seems to restrain sinful behavior. You know what I mean? So that's Bob Paxton. He was a rapper or a Black Panther. I don't know. He, like I said, he was a cop, and he was going to expose the dirty cops or whatever, only the bad cops. But he never did. It was like he literally, I don't think any indictments or anything ever came out. They would just do these stupid press conferences. We're concerned. We're 100 blacks in law enforcement. It was like the dumbest fucking thing. And it wasn't 100 blocks in NYPD. It was supposed to be, again, this whole idea of these, like the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, which was really not international. This is a nationwide movement. It's not a nationwide movement. It's one small corner office of some Jewish lawyer's file room. You know what I mean? And they're looking to monetize it. They're looking to cash in on it. And if they could cash in on it, they could cash in on it. They put Eric Adams in the state Senate, and I don't know what he did for them, but all these relationships are reciprocal relationships. You know what I mean? So if you think New York City is going to become a center of the Bitcoins, I got another thought coming for you, but I'll tell you right now, whatever happens to New York, it's largely going to be not terribly good. What do we got? I got so many notes. Yeah. Democracy. Democracy is not as horrible as you guys make it out to be. And I would suggest that if you really hate democracy, go live where there's no democracy, and don't use the fruits of democracy. Don't use the internet. Don't use electricity. Don't use air conditioning. Don't use airplanes. You know what I mean? Like none of that. You can communicate. I'll tell you what you do. I'll post my address, and you can go get you can catch a pigeon and write your critique of democracy on a little strip of paper and wrap it in the fucking pigeon's leg and send the fucking pigeon over to me, and I'll read your fucking message on the internet, which was created in a fucking democracy. You know what I mean? But if you don't like democracy, you're not allowed to have any of it. None of the fruits of it. None of the engineering. None of it. You know what I mean? No computers. No smartphones. No refrigerators. No fucking ice cream. Ice cream was invented in America by fucking Dolly Madison. No ice cream. Ever. Okay? So you don't want the pause in your beautiful fucking monarchical Christian ethno state or whatever it is that you think you're going to fucking get. You ain't getting none of it. Yes, stop saying democracy. Demos is flawed. Unlike that perfect monarchy where all you have to do is take a shit behind the fucking curtain and everything's fucking wonderful. Tom Anderson getting his Irish up. The idea that democracy is responsible for invention is laughable, considering that virtually all tech now was invented by the military. The military in a democracy, right? The Russian military didn't invent anything. The military of Bhutan or Tibet hasn't invented a whole lot. China just steals our technology, or Israel steals our technology and sells it to China. The Chinese, who, by the way, Chinese technological inventions are gunpowder, right? Which they never used to make cannons or guns or anything. They just made stupid little paper rockets. So they never capitalized on gunpowder. The Chinese invented the computer. They invented the abacus, right? So like Tom Anderson, you're not typing on an abacus right now. You're not sliding little fucking beads back and forth on a peg to send this message, right? You're using a real computer, right? So yeah, the Chinese invented the abacus. They invented gunpowder. They didn't do nothing with it. You know what I mean? It never proliferated. You know what I mean? They invented movable type. They had movable type 500 years before Johann Gutenberg figured it out in Europe. But what are their books? They never printed any fucking books. They have no literacy. They didn't say, hey, we invented movable type. We're gonna write the fucking whatever, the history of Buddhism or whatever the fuck they're going to write, and everyone's going to learn to read. That's not what happened. 500 years later, 600 years or whatever the fuck, whenever Gutenberg, the 1500s, he invented movable type, right? He figured it out himself, and then they printed the Bible. And at least, now mind you, not everybody could read the Bible, but literacy spread throughout Europe. It started with the Bible and it spread to other things. Even though the Chinese had the technology centuries earlier, they never capitalized on it. So democracy capitalizes on inventions. Period. End of story. Bob Paxton, you are not a monarchist. Jerry Garcia is your king. You followed him around in the 60s taking LSD in the fucking Grateful Dead concerts. Bob Paxton, say capitalism at the very least. When does capitalism exist in monarchy? Again, name the capitalism in monarchy. You know what I mean? The only capitalist in monarchy was Robin Hood, right? And why did Robin Hood get in trouble? Because he shot a deer that was not his. It was the king's deer in Sherwood Forest, and then they had to send the sheriff after him. Why? He's just trying to get just trying to get some food, just trying to get some venison, and he became an outlaw just for trying to survive. Why? Because the king owns everything. The king owns the land and everything in the land. There is no capitalism outside of democracy. It just doesn't exist. Please, right in the chat, I know you guys like furiously like fucking slamming the keyboard. And I'm doing this, one, specifically, I'm doing it to trigger you, but two, because it's true. It's factually correct. You know what I mean? There is no capitalism outside of democracy. Okay? Oh, Paxton's getting heated. The Chinese lack the Faustian spirit of the Hugh White man. Well, yeah, I know, but they've had some good ideas. Listen, the future, as I said, is going to be a Bitcoin-based future. So what does that mean? What does that even look like? I've said before that it's going to look like a fusion of democracy and authoritarianism. It's going to be rules, not rulers. No single personality. A set of rules that a group of people agree to live under. And those rules will be enforced by AI, by artificial intelligence. It won't be a question of you're going to beg for mercy or not beg for mercy. It's going to be real simple. This behavior will be incentivized in a positive fashion. Do this, get a reward. This behavior will be incentivized in a negative fashion. Do this, get a punishment. Is that going to happen tomorrow? It probably would not even happen in my lifetime. There's a big struggle coming up. But that dude in the lovely suit, in that fucking beautiful suit, counting those stacks of fucking bills in Weimar, Germany, I'm sure he was a very sophisticated, cultured guy. He's not a dude like me in a fucking t-shirt, sucking down a fucking, a bottle of fucking ouzo. The guy probably probably spent every day of his life fucking sober, lived in a completely 100% fucking white ethno state. You know what I mean? And they still fucked it up. Why? The incentive to advance yourself at the expense of others was there, and there was no negative incentives. There was nothing to stop them. You know what I mean? Nothing to stop the bankers and their friends in government from doing that. And these systems are still going, around, right? The reason why democracy covers the earth, whether it's the illusion of democracy, real democracy, not democracy, oligarchy, half democracy, half something else. The reason why is because monarchy sucks. Monarchy was here first. There were god kings, the god kings of fucking whatever, like Cyrus the Great and the ancient fucking Near East, fucking Babylon and Mesopotamia and all that shit. They were around long before democracy. Monarchy existed long before, or some sort of divine authoritarianism existed long before democracy. But it's been wiped off the face of the earth for a reason. It's because it's weak. It's weak and inflexible and incapable of solving real problems. Whether that problem is an internal threat or an external threat or some weather-related event, a drought or a flood or whatever, Monarchy is incapable of solving those problems. Sooner or later, a problem comes along and breaks that dynasty and ends it. Because a single point of failure system is a single point of failure system. If you're going to engineer something like a civilization, that's a very big, complicated thing. It's too big for one man or even a small group of men. Again, this fantasy you have that only the wise will be able to vote, like wisdom, intelligence, that's all bullshit. Can I fuck you over and not get hurt for it? Then I'm gonna fuck you over and you're gonna be able to do nothing. That's reality. You can put a fucking religious face on it. You can put a monarchical face on it. You can put a populist, a Republican face on it. If I can fuck you and there's no consequence, sooner or later I'm gonna fuck you. And, fuck you and hooray for me. Okay? If there's no negative consequence for that, it's going to happen no matter what fucking style of government you have. Right? Tom Anderson, the system incentivizes people to be paused. You have no idea what happened in monarchies. All these things you idealize, you have no data to back up how it's better. You literally have no data. Tell us about how great life was in the Dark Ages. You don't know because it's fucking nobody knew how to read and write, and you don't have no idea what any life was like. All we have is what evidence there is now. There's beautiful castles in Europe, right? Because these gorgeous fucking castles. Well, that's nice because that's where the fucking that's where the nobles lived and that's where the king lived. But what about everybody else? There's no record of anything. We lived and fucking died with complete ignorance, no doctors, no nothing. You know what I mean? Like you fantasize, you fill in the void, the lack of information with fantasy, and then get outraged when I point out that you're living in a dream world. Well, you could be as outrageous as you like to be, However, you are living in a dream world. You're living in a dream world. You have no data to back up any fucking thing you say. The reason why monarchy has been wiped off the face of the earth, except as a symbolic fucking, ceremonial thing in Japan. There's royal families in the Netherlands and some other stuff. They're nothing. They have no power. The reason why is because they sucked at it. They had like a millennia head start or 2 or 5 fucking thousand years head start, and they failed. But you can't accept that. You can't accept reality. Okay, whatever. Argue against reality. It's that's hilarious. When you see people doing that, they dye their hair purple, and they put a ring in their nose, and they say they're a fucking unicorn, with a 3-sexted unicorn. You think, well, this person's arguing against biological reality, and you mock them. Well, you're arguing against historical reality. Monarchy had a lead of how many years, how many centuries, how many millennia, and it lost. You blew it. So accept the fact that the future is going to be consensus-based, which is going to look something like democracy. It's going to look something like communism with its authoritarianism, brutal authoritarian imposition of rules, imposition of negative consequences. That's going to happen, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, and there's nothing these governments can do to stop it. Jeff Bezos is afraid of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, even though it's been defeated in 1978. In 1978, it was already on its last legs. The elites are jumping at shadows, okay? They fear things that don't exist, and they are moving resources, government resources and all this stuff, to fight battles that don't exist or are unwinnable because there's no enemy out there. This is a good thing, okay? This shows locked up in the ivory towers, with their fucking. I wanted to do Jeff Bezos pictures when he was a little nebbishy dude, and now that he's on fucking roids. But I had too many fucking things already going. They're getting it wrong, and what's good about that is that allows decentralized solutions. Okay, that allows Bitcoin to take over the fucking world, and Bitcoin will take over the world. It's not just Paraguay and El Salvador. Okay, all of Latin America is going to come along. The Ukraine's going to come along. Other countries going to do this, and the best part about this is subversive on levels you can't comprehend, because you could still live in wherever, you know what I mean, under whatever system, and use whatever local currency, you know what I mean, but still be a Bitcoiner, on the down low, you know what I mean, secretly, covertly, and there's nothing they can do to stop it, and nothing they can do to stop you. And the less power they have over you, the better off your life is going to be. Now, do you think you're going to make good choices? Of course you imagine you're going to make good choices. Are you actually going to make good choices? Well, we'll fucking see. James loves to put ideas in other people's minds. Dude, I can control your brain from here. Living rent-free in Paxton's dome. That's a straw man type of argument. Well, listen, I would cheerfully argue with anybody that wants to argue. Who wants to argue with me? Like literally, who wants to argue with me? Bob Paxson, Bitcoin after it hits 10K may try to take over the world. Listen, you guys, you had your chance. You know what I mean? You really did. Like I said, we took over one Latin American country last month. We're going to take over another Latin American country this month. What I believe in is working today, can't be stopped by China. The communist Chinese government literally banned Bitcoin, right? They were the center of Bitcoin mining globally, okay? Banned banks from doing any, releasing any funds to crypto people or doing business with crypto people, and they shut down Bitcoin mining. Didn't stop Bitcoin for a minute. Did the price dip? Yeah, the price dip. But if by that definition, right? If by that definition, Bob Paxson thinks he wants to make an economic argument, that the buying power of the currency is your fucking definition of success, then monarchy fucking is even fucking worse than fucking worse. Okay. Monarchy is fucking run the value of of gold and silver coins into the fucking floor. There was during the fucking Holy Roman Empire, the amount of silver in the fucking silver coin went from fucking 90% to fucking 5% in 50 fucking years. Okay, the debasement of the currency is very real. And that's when you have revolutions and turnovers and all sorts of things like that. The riots in Lebanon right now, okay, are because people are rioting because the fucking bank is screwing everybody over. They got hyperinflation in fucking Lebanon. You know what I mean? Lebanon's flaring up again, not because of the Jews, not because of Islamic Jihad or the Muslim Brotherhood or whatever. It's because the fucking money won't buy anything, and your kids are hungry, and that's going to motivate people to do all kinds of things. Thoughtless things, violent things, yes, but it's going to unleash forces that governments cannot control. You know, weak centralized governments cannot control, and Bitcoin can just sneak right in there at any time, any fucking place. You can send it like this. You know, you should study the history of money, Bob Paxson, because. And you would think as a boomer, who loves money more than boomers? You should study the history of how the Roman Empire debased its silver currency. How old, you know, the history of fiat currencies in the last 500 years. No fiat currency, a paper money issued supposedly backed by gold, has lasted longer than the Great British Pound is the longest lasting one at 312 years. But none of them have stayed the world's reserve currency longer than 112, 115 years, you know. And our fiat currency, the Federal Reserve note, okay, is like 107 years old. The Federal Reserve Corporation of America took over the printing of our money in 1913, right? It's been like 108 years. Like I said, on average, it's 127 years until fiat currency goes to zero. When the currency is zero, man, all fucking bets are off. All bets are off. Then all you guys who are like, oh, you know, you're going to do your esoteric streams on the whatever, the fucking Hegelian dialectic or whatever dumb shit you're fucking talking about. Listen, you're going to have to go out in the street and compete with wild fucking lunatics. You know, you're going to have to fucking kill somebody for a packet of fucking ramen noodles. You know what I mean? And you never balled up your doughy little fist even once in your life. You're not ready for this. You know, you think because you come up with a fucking list of complaints about shit, a democracy I don't fucking like, that somehow all of democracy is going to be thrown out, all of the bad parts. But you get to keep all the good parts. That ain't how it works. It's never how it works. Paxton, is it not past your bedtime? Look at this. I'm going for an hour and a half. Paxton, USD on thin ice. Yes, we agree on that. So let's jump into another fiat. They may spin a few more years out of it with a central bank digital currency, like Forbes magazine is saying. They're not going to let you have Bitcoin. Really? How are you going to get it from me? I know how my Bitcoin was stolen once before was the NSA, right? They fucking, they run fucking scams right on fucking YouTube. Okay. They go into Google, they manipulate the algorithm, they put shit in your fucking YouTube feed that you would never fucking see in a million fucking years. And how much have they stolen that way? I don't know. Okay. Secondarily, they attacked my fucking phone, whatever, 6 or 8 weeks ago. They hacked my phone, hacked my fucking email, tried to steal my fucking Bitcoin from Gemini. Okay. I stopped them the second time, right? I stopped them the fucking second time because, I got a little smarter about security, but you're not smart about security. You think you have dollars in the fucking bank. The government can fucking shut that down anytime they want. Okay. Cancel culture is a very real fucking thing. They'll freeze your fucking bank account. Look at what they did to that guy on fucking Gab. That kid, Andrew Torba. Not only did they freeze his business account, they've frozen MasterCard or Visa won't do business with him or anyone in his family. That's 100% illegal. You know what I mean? What hate crime did Torba's father fucking commit? He gave birth to this kid who started a fucking free speech website. Okay. So they can shut you down whenever they want. Okay. The thing that they can't shut down is Bitcoin. If the communist Chinese cannot shut it down, okay, with their level of repression, remember, they welded people inside their fucking houses. They welded people inside their fucking houses for COVID. Okay. The most extreme, with the exception of Australia, the most extreme response to this pandemic, which I believe has a 99.7% survival rate, and 85% of the people who have it don't even know they have it. Okay, if the super authoritarians, the fucking monocultural, fucking unpaused fucking Chinese, if they fail to kill Bitcoin, what do you think the chances of the super paused fucking transgender rainbow flag homos at the fucking Federal Reserve got? I guarantee you they ain't got no fucking chance, Tom Anderson, Jimmy, get your Greek passport so you can flee to the Great Satan if you need to. I'm not leaving. I think I'll probably end up going to Greece, but why would I want to leave America? I'm way too fucking American. Bob Paxson, yeah, listen, they fucking scored big on me, man. They scored big on a lot of people. And if there's ever a Truth and Reconciliation Committee where people like me get in charge, if I fucking live that long, fuck yeah, we're gonna find everybody who ever worked in fucking Utah, and we're gonna bring them before the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. And if I got to do a piece of work, then I'll do a fucking piece of work. Maybe more than one. See, here's the thing, Paxson. You talk about true believers. Bitcoin is working today. It works exactly the same way it ever did. Nothing is stopped. You keep thinking that price action is indicative of how well the network is working. The network is working perfectly. It has zero downtime. Zero downtime. We took over a country last week. Okay. I don't know that anyone's gone back to monarchy last week. I don't know that anyone's elected a dictator last week. Okay. But we took over. You said, well, it's only fucking El Salvador. It's only 6 million people, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. That's still more points than you have. You know what I mean? We put one fucking country on the board. One for us, zero for you. Again, you've had zero new monarchs, new fucking monarchies, zero new authoritarian governments in the last 50 fucking years. Okay. And we got one. So that means we're scoring more than you. Okay. In the fucking game of life, we're better than you. You need to be better at life. I don't think I'm going to get back. To be honest, Bob Paxson, I highly doubt that I will get back. I suspect that should anything like that happen, you will find that hot wallet fucking sends that shit to fucking Tel Aviv faster than you can say, shut it down. But the U.S. government has to survive somehow. And the idea that Bitcoin is digital gold, right? It's digital gold, okay? And currency will be issued as a derivative product of how much digital gold a nation state has. That's a very real idea. They're talking about that for El Salvador. Paraguay is looking at this. This is an idea articulated by Michael Saylor. Nigeria or some other African country could buy a portion of Bitcoin and then issue paper currency relative to that Bitcoin. So maybe they buy whatever, $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, and then they issue, I don't know how much money's floating around Nigeria on any given day, but they issue a certain amount of dollars that's redeemable for Bitcoin. So that keeps them honest, right? So they can't run the money printer. They can't inflate and steal your time and your life. Okay, that the paper dollars or the paper, I don't know what the Nigerians use, it's a dollar, whatever it's called. The paper currency that you transact in the day-to-day transaction has to maintain its value because it's redeemable by Bitcoin. And if you fuck around with the paper, if you mess with my paper, by the way, black dudes talk that way. Don't mess with my paper, If you mess with the paper, okay, they'll just redeem it for Bitcoin, and then you as a government official are fucking out of business. These ideas are being talked about right now. Is it being done yet? Not yet. But all of this stuff is like just around the corner. Just around the corner. Paxton, you're just wigging out, man. Like I think you're getting sleep deprived. Cali Connection blockchain is very cool. Yeah, the whole idea of blockchain is, is you can remember what fucking crimes your government fucking committed. They can't say, well, it wasn't me. Well, yeah, it was you. So the change that's going to come is going to be enormous, and a lot of people are going to get hurt, and a lot of people are not going to like it, and there's going to be all kinds of turbulence. But I suggest you get on the right side of this because what is the alternative? Not to be argumentative, but what is the alternative? If the entire world, America, China, Russia, whatever, is run on counterfeit money, that's essentially counterfeit money, right? You don't know how many dollars, how many rubles, how many yuan, how many South Korean, what are they called? The South Korean money? Won. How many rupiah? You don't fucking know how many there are really in circulation. They tell you it's this number, but you don't know if it's that number or any other fucking number. And they print as much as they want, and they put it in their pocket or give it to their fucking friends. So, with no accountability, how does this system beat a Bitcoin, which is completely transparent and publicly accountable to everyone? How does it beat them? Do you really think all these scumbags who literally have taken over entire fucking nations and live with God tier wealth are going to give that up to live, with a strict fucking accounting on a blockchain, or what you've done and what you haven't done, with consequences? No, they're not. The inevitable clash of these two fucking systems is going to occur, and a fucking corrupt the elite, they're going to lose. One, because they're incompetent, but two, because they're fighting the wrong fucking battle. They're fighting the ladies' garment workers union when what they need to be fighting is the Bitcoin network. But the problem is you can't fight the Bitcoin network because you don't know who's in it, how deep they're in it, how often they're in it. Are they in it this minute? Not yesterday? Tomorrow? It's an enemy they've never faced before, using tactics they've never encountered before, and things that they have no weapons against. So, and it's great to watch this play out. It's for me, like I said, my fucking mission in life is to destroy the Federal Reserve Corporation of America. And the way I'm going to do that peacefully and legally, without firing a shot, without doing anything illegal, is to convince everyone I meet to take their ever-growing worthless U.S. dollars, Federal Reserve notes, and trade them for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's value going up here. Let's let's go talk about Paxson talking about Bitcoin going to 10 mil. This is come on, you prick. I give this computer all this time to fucking change shit, and it won't even. The cache gets lazy. That's what it is. It's lazy. It doesn't want to do any work. Is this the one? Yes. Yes. Slay Queen. Whatever the fuck that means. So in terms of being high time preference versus low time preference, the thing about Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme. It's an avoid getting poor slowly scheme. Okay. And here's a graph of Bitcoin over the last 10 years. That's not what I think is true. That is observably, provably true. The price of Bitcoin is the yellow line. Okay. The dotted line is the exponential growth. Okay. Sometimes Bitcoin is below the dotted line. Sometimes it's ahead of the dotted line, but it's always following that dotted line higher and higher and higher, because everything you're measuring it against is going lower and lower and lower. Okay. There's no bottom to fiat. There's no limit to how much money they will print. The dude in the fucking tuxedo counting the stacks of Deutschmarks, all right, is historic visual evidence. It's photographic evidence that governments will not stop printing. There's no end to the money printer. So since there is no bottom to the money printer, there is no top to Bitcoin. So will Bitcoin go to 100,000? Yes. Will it go to 500,000? Yes. Will it go to 1 million? Absolutely. Because they won't stop printing money. Now, how much will $1 million be worth? I don't know. How much will $5 million be worth? I don't know. But Bitcoin will be worth $5 million. Bitcoin will be worth $10 million. And you think, will it be $10 million in today's dollars? Probably not. What will $10 million buy 10 years from now? I don't fucking know. But there is no top to Bitcoin. There is no top to Bitcoin because there is no end to the money printer. So, you know, you can choose whatever you want to choose. You want to stay with the Federal Reserve people and you think that they're going to come to their senses. You think that they're going to live a good moral life, that they're going to fall to their knees and come to Jesus and not act the way they've been acting for the last 107 fucking years. Okay, go with that. Okay, I think that they're in fucking corrigible scumbags, and they're not going to stop until they're made to stop. Okay, so you know, this is the mathematical reality of the last 10 years. And you can cry, oh, well, why didn't I buy in January 2011? You wouldn't have been interested in 2011. You would have been, I don't know, talking about fucking Barack Obama's reelection or some stupid shit. You wouldn't have been paying attention, okay? Hopefully you're paying attention now, and you still have an opportunity now to get on this line. You know what I mean? So we're a little bit below the average. Well, we're a little bit below the fucking average, but we won't stay there forever. And the average is growing ever higher. Ever higher. This is the exponential growth. This is what's called log scale growth. Nothing else comes close. What is your alternative? What is your alternative? You're going to elect a new senator, a new this or that or whatever. Who's that cocksucker? The one, the pink shirt guy with the AR-15, and his wife had the fucking, like the non-functional Walther fucking pistol. McCloskey, he's running for the Senate seat in Missouri. They seize his fucking guns. They arrest them because people came onto their private property. They lived in a private development. They came outside their house, unwise, arguably. Really unwise. Come out of the house with guns. That's not a good look. Don't do that. But they came out of the house with guns, even though they were legally still on their property, and they pointed guns at these Antifa people. They got arrested. One, the pistol that the woman was holding was non-functioning. Okay, the prosecutor's office made it functioning, which is evidence tampering, which is a felony. It's prosecutorial misconduct, right? That whoever did that, they should all be fucking facing felony charges now. McCloskey, listen, he's a Democratic lawyer and a big shot and politically connected. They said, listen, we'll make you a senator if you give up your fucking guns and plead guilty to a misdemeanor. Now, technically, he can still own guns, but he gave up his guns, literally turned in his fucking guns, and pled guilty to a misdemeanor in order to get a Senate seat. So that's the incentive, right? There's the incentive. Why would you shred the Constitution? Why would you give up your rights? One, you're not giving up your rights. The back door, you're still going to be able to have guns to protect yourself. Okay. Two, you're going to overlook the prosecutorial misconduct of taking a non-functioning pistol and making it function. Okay. That's evidence tampering. In a trial that hadn't even happened yet. Okay. He could have won this trial in every way, like from fucking, like, if winning the trial, if the truth was important to this guy, right? If the truth and the Constitution was important to this guy, he would have said, let's go to fucking court. I will fucking destroy you. Okay. But he didn't. He said, all right, you know what? Now I got a fucking campaign staff. Now I got this, I got that. I'm going to be Joe Republican, you know? And if you look at this guy, I follow him on Twitter. I follow his account on Twitter. He gets dragged like a motherfucker by the Second Amendment community. They're like, you gave up your guns. You gave up your guns. You pled guilty. You gave up your guns. They won't fucking let him forget that. Now, will he win? He'll probably win anyway. But what is his incentive for doing that? His incentive for doing that is he gets to be one of 100 U.S. senators. And for his children and his grandchildren, you know how many doors that opens? You know how many jobs? 6-figure fucking income jobs in NGOs, foreign travel. You know what I mean? All this fucking kind of thing for his children, for his grandchildren, forever. When he can sell you out to benefit his family, he will. When there's no negative consequence, well, of course he's going to fucking do it. If I can fuck you, I'm going to fuck you. And this is going to continue. This is not going to end tomorrow. This is not going to end when Bitcoin's price hits 75,000 or 100,000. It's not going to end. But Bitcoin is going to make steady fucking gains around the fucking globe. We're going to take over country after country after country. And when fucking hyperinflation really does hit, well, then, you know, you're going to wish you fucking bought Bitcoin at the fucking bargain price of 30 fucking grand. The bargain price of, where are we at today? Hold on. Take a look. Live Bitcoin quotes. 34,677. 34,586. It just changed. So $34,000 Bitcoin is going to look super cheap. And there were crazy people when Bitcoin was $100 said it's going to go to 20,000. It's going to go to 25,000, and people said you're smoking crack. And now 25,000 would be a crash. You know what I mean? When I got ripped off by the NSA at 10.7, I bought back in like literally within hours of that. I borrowed money from my bank at 13.6 or 7. Okay. And now Bitcoin has crashed to 34,000. I borrowed money from a bank at 13.7, and now Bitcoin has crashed at 34,000. Yeah, some fucking crash. Do I look fucking worried? So a year, and that was only fucking 6-7 months ago. You know, think about 6 or 7 years from now. Please try to be low time preference, not high time preference. Please try to think long term, not if I buy Bitcoin today, can I retire by the end of the week? No, that's not how it works. Okay, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's an avoid getting poor slowly scheme. If you could make better arguments than you could, than you currently do, then you know, you keep imagining, oh, somebody will come and argue with James who's smarter than him. No, they won't. You know what I mean? First off, all of you fucking high IQ twats won't fucking argue economics. None of you want to touch economics about any fucking thing, because that points out the reality that A, you don't do anything useful. You produce no useful goods or fucking services to fucking fund your lifestyle. And two, you understand nothing about the thing you claim you want to fucking change for the better. Okay? Bob Paxton will have to wait 6 to 7 years for BTC to hit its high again. Oh, gonna hold you to that one, Paxton. Gonna hold you to that one. 6 to 7 years. It's never stayed that low that long. Anyway, what is it? 1 hour 41 minutes. I meant to keep this thing shorter, but now we're like 2 hours into this, and I'm like deep into the fucking argument. Bet. How much you want to bet? What do you want to bet? A flounder? What do you want to bet, South Jersey guy? Bet. He lives outside of fucking Atlantic City. What do you want to bet, Paxton? A box of fucking ammo? What do you shoot? 9mm or do you shoot 45? You shoot the proper manly caliber of 45 ACP. You gotta go. All right. Good night, Mr. Paxton. Thank you you participated quite a bit. I'm very impressed. You were very energetic and had quite a bit of stamina. So whatever they put in your Metamucil is really quite potent. But seriously, the argument is, what is the alternative? Which government is an honest government? Is going to play it straight with the economy? Which government? The Russians, the Chinese, which ones? Because if you really thought, I mean, you could say whatever you want to say in the chat. Say whatever you want to say in the chat. But if you really thought that the Russians were going to play it straight, or like life in Russia was better than life in America, you would fucking move to Russia. You'd be going there all the time. Even that fucking, what's his name, the white Joe, Ramsey Paul. He tried to move to fucking Hungary. Laugh at him if you want, but at least he had the courage of his convictions. He wants to live in Hungary. He wants to live in a tiny little white ethno state where he doesn't even speak the fucking language. Although I've had, there's a Hungarian dish called chicken paprikash, which is actually a pretty good dish. It's like shredded chicken in a cream sauce with paprika and like dumplings, like a Hungarian dumpling. It's actually a pretty good dish. Shoot 40. 40 is gay. Whatever, I'll buy you a box of 40 used to be cheap. Tom Anderson, when will BTC hash rate get back to normal? When the miners land in Kazakhstan and whatever, they got to get back up to speed. Price does follow hash rate, and hash rate is low right now. So they got to move the equipment and get it plugged in. I don't think it'll be terribly much longer, but we'll see. Like all the astrologers, all the technical analysts, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. It's it's a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. It's a head and shoulders. Listen, it's all fucking. It'll happen when it happens. It'll happen when it happens. And Tom Henson, I know you're like dying for the Lambos, the Lambo and the fucking supermodel with the cocaine in their fucking ass crack. Like I get. By the way, here's some advice. I don't know where you live. I have no idea where you live, and I'm not asking where you live. But I know they rent supercars. You can rent a Ferrari. You can rent a Lambo. Let me suggest to you, if this is really important to you, you go out and rent one of those fucking cars. It's an expensive thing. I mean, you might have to fly to Vegas. I don't know where maybe you live in fucking Peoria. I don't know. If you really think you're going to be like driving a Lambo and snorting cocaine out of the ass crack of a supermodel, let me suggest to you, you learn how to drive a Lambo or Ferrari or whatever the fuck it is, because that shit that's not like driving my 2006 Toyota Matrix. Okay. If you think you're going to be like doing fucking blasts and checking out some fucking silicone booba chick, and driving a fucking Lambo in a straight line, go on YouTube, go up here in the fucking search box and look at Lambo crash. Look at all these fucking rich twats in Miami that try to show off in front of a crowd to do a burnout in their fucking Ferrari or Lambo and end up crashing into a fucking concrete bollard. and there goes $400,000 of daddy's money. So go rent the fucking car, practice driving the car without destroying the gearbox, and that way, should whatever amount of Bitcoin you have be enough to afford the Lamborghinis and cocaine fueled supermodels, it won't be your first time there. Okay, it won't be your first time doing this. You'll have a little bit of practice, because nobody hits a home run the first time at bat. You know what I mean? You're gonna want a little practice with this. You know what I mean? So good idea if you went and did that. And to make your dream come true a little bit in advance, because it ain't gonna come together perfect on the fucking day exactly the way you fantasize. Again, my point that a lot of you guys live in a fantasy world, ignoring some very obvious historical realities. And you think, oh, I'm never going to leave the internet. I'm never going to, I'm always going to be in this fantasy world. Oh, well, I feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? I have to go to a lot of different places and deal with a lot of different people. And so it's a funny thing. I was thinking about people on the internet. I am substantially like this in the real world. I'm probably, of all the people you've ever seen on the internet, I'm probably the guy who's closest online as I am in fucking IRL. So, listen, the Bitcoin hash rate is going to go up when the miners get back online. How soon that's going to happen, how fast that's going to happen. You move from China to Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas, they got all that gas flare, but you can't just plug in, because those racks of fucking ASICs are wired up in a way that's legal in China, but it ain't fucking legal in the United States. You know what I mean? Or anywhere else they land. There are electrical codes and fucking, safety specifications that have to be met outside of China that are very different. And it's going to take a little while. But again, here, where's the thing I just showed you? You gotta have a low time preference. You know what I mean? You can't be high time preference. If you're so fucking high in preference that you can't fucking see straight, to do something, you really need to fucking do something to alleviate yourself. This is a long game. Your life's not going to end at next month. Your life's not going to end at Christmas. Think of the long fucking game. If you got to have whatever you think you got to have, go and do it tonight. Go and do it soon. Don't hope that all of a sudden you're going to be flush with fucking cash or whatever, and you're just going to hop in a Lambo, or some super high-powered fucking car, coked up out of your gourd, and zip around without consequence. It's going to end badly. You don't put off your fucking dreams and your happiness. If it's possible right now that you could live at least some part of your fucking what you dream about, what you want, do it. And I don't know what that looks like. It's going to be different things for different people, but if you keep putting your happiness on the far side of $500,000 Bitcoin, or you put your happiness on the far side, on the opposite side of, like, whatever, I don't know, $28 fucking million in USD, like, you're going to be miserable. Figure out how to be happy now, as happy as you can be. Do as much as you want to do. Live your life as much as you can right now, and don't keep putting it off till fucking tomorrow, because you think, oh, it'll all just be perfect. It'll all just come together. And you know what? It ain't going to be perfect, and it ain't going to come together. Anyway, coming up on 2 hours. 1 minute 51 17. Anyway, I used to have Had big ratings. Had like 5 or 7 viewers earlier. Now everyone's gone to sleep. It is midnight on a Monday, June what 28th or something like that. Bitcoin 34 and change. Hang on. The parabola is intact. Nothing has changed. China did whatever they could to kill Bitcoin, and they failed. So good things are coming. Avoid big crowds. Avoid black people. Understand George Floyd is the new hero. You have to genuflect to. But behind the scenes, even though you're forced to drink gluten-free tequila, by the way, smash up the like button, hit the fucking notification bell, click on all, so every time I do one of these streams, whether it's Sunday or Monday, you'll be notified. Hit the like button on the way out, and good things are happening. If you can see things how they really are, not how you wish they would be. Anyway, thanks for everybody for showing up, and I'm going to call stream, as they say, and let you guys out, and I will talk to you again next week. Good night.